So, from that time on, we have all become scattered, and can no longer go each to his place to renew his power. For since the entire world has been overturned, we now need different paths. Therefore we can no longer go up, each to his place to renew his power. However, the impression that remains by each of us, meaning the token, that is the little bit that has remained by each one from long ago, is also very great. And if this mighty one, which the country feared, is the king's warrior, he is certainly a very mighty warrior. All this the prayer leader told the people. And they heard out his words, and were very amazed. And now they held the prayer leader fast, and would no longer let him go, because perhaps the warrior who wants to come upon them is the king's warrior mentioned above, with whom the prayer leader is acquainted. And the aforementioned warrior kept coming closer to the country, always sending emissaries to them, until he reached the country. And he stationed himself below the city, and sent his emissaries inside to them, for them to tell him what they want, to submit themselves or not, as above. They were very terrified of him, and they begged the prayer leader to give them an eitzah, an advice, or remedy. The prayer leader told them it was necessary to inspect the conduct of this warrior in order for him to recognize thereby if this is the aforementioned warrior of the king. The prayer leader went, and he went out toward the warrior, and he reached the warrior's army and began talking with one of the warrior's accompanying warriors, with one of the sentries, in order to examine if he is the warrior whom he is familiar with. The prayer leader asked him, "What do you do? And how did you get together with this warrior?" He answered him, that one warrior replied to the prayer leader, "What took place was like this. It is written in their chronicles how there had been a great storm wind over the world, changing sea to dry land, and dry land to sea, and wilderness to settled area, and settled area to wilderness, mixing up the entire world. And after the noise and upheaval, the entire world having become so mixed up, the world's people decided to make a king for themselves. They started to investigate who ought to be made king over them, and they reasoned, inasmuch as the essential thing is only the ultimate purpose, tachlis, therefore, whoever most occupies himself with and exerts himself in the purpose of the world, he deserves to be a king. They began probing what the purpose is, and several opinions arose among them. One faction said that the main object is honor, for we see that the world considers honor the main thing. Because when a person is not given his respect, that is, when some word is uttered against his honor, he experiences bloodshed, because the main thing for the entire world is honor. And even after death, people are careful to accord the dead his honor, burying him with respect and so forth, and telling him, what is being done for you is all being done for your honor, even though after death one no longer wants any money, and the dead person certainly has no desire for anything. Nevertheless, they are particular about the honor of the dead, and guard his honor. Therefore, it is honor that is the main purpose. They continued saying more such conjectures and deductions of the sort, that honor is the main object of the world, until it became settled among them that the ultimate purpose is honor. Therefore, they needed to search for an honorable person, that is to say, a person who has honor, and moreover, the person should also pursue honor. For since he receives honor and pursues it, he assists human nature, which desires honor. Therefore, this person exerts himself and pursues after the main goal, and has reached it, because the goal is, after all, honor, as mentioned. Therefore, such a person deserves to be king. All this was the foolish opinion of a sect of them. So they found foolish conjectures and deductions until they became led astray therein, and said that honor is the purpose. Likewise, All the other factions that will appear below all had foolish reasoning in their foolish notions. Some of them are explained below, but Rabbeinu of blessed memory did not want to explain all the perplexed reasoning for these beliefs, because there are some rationales in this that are so perplexing that it is possible to indeed be led astray by these false rationales. The merciful one spare us. Rahman al-Islam. They went searching for such a person, and they went and saw an old gypsy beggar being carried, which followed him were perhaps 500 gypsies. And the beggar was blind, hunchback, and mute, and all the people followed him because they were all his relatives, for he had sisters, brothers, and ragtag progeny, until there came to be so many of them, all of whom followed him and carried him. And the old beggar was very particular about his honor, for he was a very angry person, and always heaped his great indignation upon them, always ordering that others should carry him, and always scolding them. Hence, this elderly beggar is a very honorable man, because he is so strict over his honor. Therefore this beggar pleased them, and they accepted him as a king. And because land also has an effect, for there is a land that engenders and is conducive, misugal, to honor, and similarly there is a land that is specially suited for another trade. Therefore this faction, which regarded honor as the main purpose, sought a country that engenders and is conducive to honor, and they found such a country that is conducive to it, and they settled there.